Yo, how's it going, Hulk Hogan and Joe Rogan? Yeah, I used to watch Joe Rogan on Fear Factor and also on the show called News Radio back in the day before he was doing all of his, Joe Rogan things. Also, another thing that I realized is, man, my homie just told me this. He's like, dude, when you be mentioning those like 80s and like 90s references, he's like, bruh, that's like somebody referencing World War II when you were in the 80s growing up. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And putting it in context like that, I realized like, yeah, man, these are ultra dated references. Ultra dated references. But whatever, dude. We're still gonna keep going. Today's video is a tutorial and it is brought to you by no one. It's brought to you by me. And I'm gonna and it's not like I haven't tried to get sponsorships. I actually hit a big bad toy store. You know that? I hit a big bad toy store and I was like, yo, I'm a big fan of your site, your service. I buy toys from you guys all the time. I'm Bot Bender. I started a channel in 2021 in January, and we have grown the YouTube page to about 9.5 and the Instagram page to about 10.5. And I just said, like, this is what we do. And, just wanted to see if y'all providing any sponsorship opportunities. And they got back to me right away within like an hour or two. And they're just like, man, thank you so much. We really like we really like channels. We really like what you do. But at this time, we're not looking for any sponsors right now. So I was like, oh, okay. But you know what? Part of me is almost like, dude, should I just sponsor for the heck of him? For the heck of it, just give him props. But anyway. So let's talk about this guy. We debuted him on the community tab, and I asked, hey, do you guys like this version? Or do you like the version without Skullgrin? And I'll show you that in a second. And it was a little bit confusing because the version with Skullgrin, I called the Cyclonus armor. Sorry, I got a new camera stand, so you see the little wobble. So sorry about that. I'm trying to work through it. Excuse me. So version 2.0, when I originally created this, it had the Skullgrin armor. And by the way, if you can't tell, I have a bit of something's wrong with my throat. Like it feels all itchy and scratchy. Hey, the cat and mouse from The Simpsons. It's all itchy and scratchy, and I feel like I got to keep clearing it right now. But the first version that I created did not have the armor of Skullgrin. The second version did, and that's why the first version I called 2.0, and the second version I called like 2.1 or 2.01 or something like that. But you don't really need Skullgrin. You just need one Axlegrease to make this work. One of my favorite parts about this build, by the way, and I should have mentioned it earlier, is I love this multi-dimensional hand cannon thing he has going on. That's so cool. That's so very cool. So let me start by peeling away Skullgrin, and then you're going to be able to see the inner bot much more, much clearer. So we're going to take the backpack straps, just kind of lift them up. They're not plugged into anything. And then these bits, these are kind of under the armpits. And so there's a little bit of finessing to kind of get them removed. There we go. And I'm just going to show you good old Scully. So you can see he's been like quasi transformed into like his tank mode, because you can see that the body has been opened up. But what you're not going to do is the arms, you're not going to fold them into the chest. You're going to keep them off into the side, and you're going to want them spun around so that this is the back of the figure, right? So you want the arms basically facing the back, meaning you've spun them around at the bicep. The hand we have bent ever so slightly, and we have inserted this here, and these almost become like the suspenders underneath the body. On the shoulders, we've just plugged in the little blades, and then we have the legs bent over here with the treads extended out. These are going to hug under the arm, and these are going to come over the chest. Okay, so I'm going to move to the side, and now you get to see what this bot looks like. I should have showed him off earlier. You get to see what he looks like without all of that armor. In the community tab, when I first showcased this guy, most of you liked him with the Skullgrin armor, but many of you also commented that he was very, very clean looking without the Skullgrin armor, and so that's where he's at. Also, an interesting thing about this build, in order to do this, like you see the feet over here, look how it's been configured. In some of the other Cyclonus builds, I folded in the feet and I kept the thrusters out instead. But on this one, I wanted to utilize both ports that are present in the feet because his toe has 2 ports. And then the arm, I'm just going to show you. The shins, the legs are plugged into the rear of the leg. The arms are plugged into the toe. And then the arms will be used to kind of create this like armor bit outside the legs. And I really, really like that a lot. So I'm just going to start pulling stuff off and explaining the easy bits. Up at the top over here. These are just shins, right? Okay, so we have removed those, and he's a bit blurry. Let me see if I could just lock the focus in there. This thing on the side. And that kind of came off right now. That's okay. This is just the arm, right, of Axlegrease, scrap hook, toe line, all the same engineering. And then we've spun the forearm sideways and we've included the exhaust right here, and the fist we've plugged in the engine. And the reason we're doing like all of that is you wanted to do this. You want this engine to kind of look like it's almost like some type of something hanging off his waist. You see what I mean? This whole bit is supposed to look like a skirt, like kind of like Gundam-esque. You know what I'm talking about? They have the gladiator skirts, and so that's what it's supposed to be. And if you're wondering why I make that noise, well, I talk a lot. It's because, dude, I hella salivate, dude. I hella drool everywhere, and that's why I'm always like, because I gotta suck back the spit, otherwise it's gonna fall all over the ground, dude. I know, dude. I'm a gross human being. Over here, that's the front of the toe. You can see a bunch of it's stressed, right? Because not a lot of stuff gets plugged in there. Even the back one is pretty stressed savagely. Do you see that? Those white lines and stuff, but it is what it is in the Grizz, right? So this front part is just one of the arms plugged into the toe. Put this up, and then we have the exhaust shin covering there. And then from there, after that, you're just going to take this leg, the shin, and then plug it into the back. But you got to make sure you got to angle the toe up, okay? Like this. Heels down, toes up. And I'm sure it can be configured in a variety of ways, but that's how you get this look, though. And then you just modify this however you see fit. And then once again, you take the shins and you put that up here. Oh, this. Dude, this is really easy. You see that? It's basically you've taken one of the Axlegrease's rear car covering, then you've just plugged them together here, and you've done exactly the same thing on the other side as well, right? And then what you do is you just plug one up there, and you just plug, I think, or I messed it up. Maybe it's like that. I think I messed it up. I did. Now I'm going to have to go back and see what I did, because anyway, I had some type of like omnidirectional blaster earlier. I know that's not it, dude, but we'll figure it out later. You can rewind to the front of the video, or rewind. You can scrub back to the front of the video and see how it is. It's definitely not this, but it's something like that. And that's it. That's it. That's it, yeah.